Welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to dive right into something I think we all know a little too well. Let's talk about that highly ambitious, perfectly color-coded budget you made last January. You know the one, right? You sat down, you crunched the numbers, and you absolutely promised yourself that this year was going to be different. But by March, that beautiful spreadsheet was completely abandoned, and you were left with absolutely no idea where the money actually went.
So, does this cycle of starting off super strong and then inevitably ending up in financial guilt resonate with you? I bet it does, because honestly, we have almost all been there. But here's the strangely comforting part that we're going to unpack today. The failure isn't because you're inherently bad with money. It doesn't mean you lack discipline or moral fiber. The absolute truth is, your brain is just functioning exactly as it evolved to function. Your biology is quite literally fighting your spreadsheet.
Section 1. The Budgeting Illusion. Why your brain rejects the spreadsheet. Okay, so the core problem here is that a budget is essentially asking you to perform a psychological magic trick. It's basically a binding contract between two completely different versions of yourself that almost never agree on anything. On one side, you've got the rule writer, that is present you. You're highly motivated, you're probably fueled by a fresh, overpriced latte, and you are deeply idealistic about the future. But on the other side, you have the rule follower, that's future you. And future you actually has to live by these super strict rules weeks later when they're totally stressed out from work and deeply tempted by a flash sale. This massive disconnect sets the stage for our first big psychological hurdle.
Section 2. Mental Accounting Explained. The Invisible Buckets of Money.
This brings us to a fascinating concept called mental accounting. Economist Richard Thaler actually spent decades studying this specific quirk of human behavior. He found that our minds simply do not treat money as one single, perfectly interchangeable number the way a calculator does. Instead, your brain instinctively splits your finances up into these invisible buckets. So, the money you set aside for rent fundamentally feels different to your brain than the $20 bill in your pocket that's destined for coffee, even though logically both are just dollars with the exact same purchasing power.
And here is why this matters. A traditional budget tries to aggressively override this deep-seated bucket instinct. It tries to replace messy human psychology with pure, cold spreadsheet logic. But when you pit ancient human instinct against modern math logic, logic loses. It loses almost every single time.
Section 3. The Present Bias Problem. The Discount Problem of Time.
Now we run into a psychological trap that totally sabotages our best intentions. Let's play a quick game. I want you to genuinely ask yourself, if I offered you $100 today or $110 next month, which one would you take? Now, logically, waiting yields a 10% return in just 30 days. That's a phenomenal investment. But something really odd happens in our brains. The delay makes the reward feel fundamentally less real. The money today feels incredibly tangible, while the money next month just feels like some abstract concept.
And this brilliantly illustrates what psychologists called present bias. Economists George Lowenstein and Ted O'Donoghue mapped this out precisely. They found that the you of today consistently outvotes the you of tomorrow, basically every single time. I really want to emphasize this. It's not because you're weak-willed. It's simply because your brain is hardwired to weigh the present way more heavily than the future. It prioritizes the immediate over the distant, and honestly, it always has.
Section 4. The Willpower Limit. Why discipline runs dry.
So if you're trying to rely on sheer willpower to stick to your budget, you are playing a losing game. Psychologist Roy Baumeister conducted some groundbreaking research showing that resisting temptation literally drains a limited psychological resource, and it happens one tiny decision at a time. Just think about your daily willpower drains. You spend it sitting in frustrating morning traffic. You spend it trying to draft a really delicate email to your boss. By the time you're standing in line at the cafe holding a pastry and staring at the coffee menu, your discipline was already spent hours ago. When the tank is empty, the budget doesn't stand a chance.
The crazy thing is, the math in your spreadsheet was never wrong. The expectation was. We are asking a biological system that was built for immediate survival to somehow plan 5 months ahead using glowing numbers in a smartphone app. Our ancestors ate when food appeared because tomorrow just wasn't guaranteed. That instinct kept humanity alive for millennia, but that exact same survival instinct, it just wasn't built to comprehend rent, software subscriptions, or deciding against a Tuesday afternoon latte.
Section 5. Automate to win. Bypassing the brain's flaws.
Okay, so if our brains are so wonderfully flawed for modern finance, how do the people who actually stick to a budget pull it off? Well, they bypass the brain entirely. Here are the actionable steps right from the source material. Step 1. Remove the daily decision entirely. Step 2. Set up automatic transfers that trigger the exact second a paycheck lands. And step 3, which is the real magic key here, move the money before your present self ever even sees it in the checking account. Because if you don't see it, you don't spend it.
If you take absolutely anything away from this explainer, please let it be this. You didn't fail your budget. Your budget failed to understand what kind of brain it was working with. Your financial struggles, all those abandoned spreadsheets, they're a biological mismatch. They are not a character flaw. Let's look at the practical application for your life going forward. When next January rolls around, or honestly, whenever you decide to sit down and look at your finances next, please do not write a longer, stricter list of rules. Don't just promise yourself you're going to try harder. Instead, build a system of automation. Make absolutely sure that tired, stressed-out future you never even has to step into the ring to fight highly motivated present you for the money.
Which leaves us with one final, vital question to think about. Are you ready to stop fighting your own brain? By simply understanding your psychology, embracing your evolutionary quirks, and automating your choices, you can finally make your money work for you, instead of letting your instincts work against you. So what automatic transfer are you going to set up today to protect your future self? Let that question sit with you for a bit as you start taking control of your financial psychology.